schools are leaking. Even FCT, even the Federal Capital Territory, go around public schools, secondary school, primary school in FCT. You will be shocked. This is Federal Capital. Recall that this year, for about 3 months, primary school teachers in Federal Capital Territory were on strike over what? Minimum wage. Over 70,000 minimum wage. Even with 70,000, what can you buy? What can you buy? My father, you know, there used to be a saying that how much does a teacher have that is using saliva to count his salary? At that time, you don't have money transfer. You have to you get paid by hand. You know, it's cash. And when a teacher receives his money, he doesn't need to use it. You know, it's when money is plenty that you use saliva to count it. So that, but when you are earning very paltry sum of money, you don't even need any saliva to count it. And that has remained the unfortunate fate of our teachers across board, primary, secondary, tertiary, except the only school with some significant better structures are the private entities. Private, but even there, I have a friend that worked in a private university here in Abuja, and she perpetually complains about the workload, which is humongous. And the school has refused to hire sufficient number of lecturers. So the few ones are overworked for paltry sums of money. So the fate of teachers is good that we set aside a day to celebrate. In Nigeria, I just say, is very deplorable, very unfortunate, very humanizing. From the welfare point of view, to even the facilities that you need to work with. Is it not when a school has, look at the mass abduction of students that have happened in many schools, including teachers, where some have been killed, some are maimed, some have been abducted, and people's family have to raise ransom to free them. It is so unfortunate. The environment, the work environment is very dehumanizing. You don't have very good classrooms. No, for the primary school, when schools have even moved on to whiteboard, there are many schools that they are using blackboard and still have to do Friday polishing of the blackboard so that you can see. The teachers are grossly in many of our public schools, and those who are there are overworked, just like we have in the health sector. That unfortunately, why those in the health sector can even they can jackpot and get better jobs elsewhere. How many of our primary and secondary school teachers can afford to jackpot? Even the tertiary ones that are jackpot, what is how better is their lot? We are jackpot. So the lot of teachers, both at primary, secondary, and university, needs to be improved. Not just in terms of welfare and well-being, even in terms of environment, security around their environment. Many schools lack perimeter fence. The classrooms are in deplorable condition. My school in Ibadan, we just celebrated 40 years of living secondary school on September 26th. And we, the alumni, had to help with refurbishing the school, helping to mend and provide additional structure for the school, which is what government should ordinarily do. But because to them, it's not a priority. After all, the children of the elite, the children of governors and presidents never studied in Nigeria. They are always very quick to send their children abroad to go and study. In fact, one very funny case is supposedly a university proprietor who debated the graduation of his son in the UK university. And this is a man who owns a university in Nigeria. So you are not even proud to have your children to send them abroad with hard-earned money. So it is a paradox that those who build the future leaders are very neglected, not well taken care of.
All right, Jide, over the years, virtually every government will admit to the need to do something about the plight of teachers, to do something about education. But at the end of the tenure of such a government, it's almost the same. Is it that we don't realize, as a people, when I mean we, I mean Nigerians, is it that we don't realize the importance of teachers or the importance of education, or what? Why do you think this keeps? It's like a vicious circle.
Well, it is so because, as I said earlier on, there are alternatives. Remember the House of Reps early this year came up with, one of the members of the House of Reps came up with a bill to prevent
public officers,
president, governors, and people, public servants from sending abroad. And I laughed. Of course, the bill did not last. I think it was killed at the second reading. The point is, it's a human rights thing. You cannot ban people if they afford it. The bottom line is just that those who are stifling education in Nigeria, those who are unleashing this kind of terror on our teachers, are themselves taught and are beneficiaries of public institutions. You understand? They went to primary school, public secondary school, public university. This whole issue of university, private secondary school, is just a thing of the 90s. Of course, those of us who schooled in the 70s and the 80s, our choices are limited. Even if your parents were rich, you are compelled to go to public schools. Only very few private nursery and private schools have existed in the 70s and 80s. You only talk about Sacred Heart schools in Ibadan, and maybe one or two. So the choices are very limited. So many of us who went to school in the 70s, 80s, 90s, in the 70s and 80s, majorly, we have to go to public universities, public secondary school. And today's leaders were beneficiaries of the public education. So why can't they devote enough resources to improve the lot of our public health, public educational institutions? You find out that today the budget for education is still under 10% of our national budget. When UNESCO said 26% should be devoted to education. Let me shock you. I read something which I posted on my Facebook wall, where around June, July this year, Ghana declared free education up to tertiary level for its citizens. Ghana, you know, about 150,000 Ghanaians in colleges of education, polytechnics, and universities are currently enjoying free education. So then you must know that there will be exponential increase in the number of enrollment and all of that. In our own case, we said we want to do social investment program, and then under it we have the homegrown school feeding program. Do you know that researchers have shown that while the homegrown school feeding program recorded exponential enrollment, but the number of retention is less than half. Because the environment is not conducive for learning. The schools don't have shutters. When it rains during this kind of rainy season, the classrooms are flooded. So the teachers are condemned. Even the staff room. The staff room is not than the classroom. And that is why part of the social investment program in the homegrown school feeding program, since 2016, and it has only been for pupils to come to school during break time, eat, and then go back.
And then disappear.
When we were planning that social event, when Buhari administration was planning the homegrown school feeding program, it didn't factor that there will be exponential increase in the number of enrollment and expand the infrastructure in the schools, or even refurbish the school ahead of that. Okay, some weekend in the last media chat they had was just saying that okay, they have now awarded contract to refurbish some schools in the MCT. That should have been long done before you talk about homegrown school feeding program, because when the school environment is deplorable, when there are no chairs and tables, do you know that this whole backwardness started in the 90s when we started having to carry their own chairs and lockers to school. The parents are asked to go and get carpenters to build and construct chairs and school. When pupils have to do that, or parents have to do that, what is the fate of the teachers in that school? And one of the my early education during the 1980, I entered secondary school in 1980. That was during the Bola Ige era in Oyo State. And you know what happened? They declared free education. And then, September 26, 1980, when we resumed school, the school where I was posted had no complete building. They have not. The schools have not been plastered. They have not, no shutters, no windows, no the class. Everywhere is open level. The only thing is that the structure has been built, the block work has been done, the roofing was done, but no facilities of any sort. And upon all, we do not have enough teachers. That was when Oyo State government had to negotiate and went into diplomatic relations with Ghana. And Ghana sent teachers to Nigeria. Okay. In fact, I remember Mr. Champon, Mr. Osei. These are some of our teachers who are Ghanaian, who are posted to our school. Now, many decades after, if you go around many public schools, you'll find out that there are not enough teachers, particularly in key subjects like English and mathematics and the sciences. There are enough teachers, and yet government wants to make a brick without straw. They want to make an omelette without breaking an egg. If they are not funding the school well, and funding should include having very good welfare package for teachers. I know that the Buhari administration tried and increased teachers' salary. I think they have a 27.5% increase under Buhari, and then the retirement age was moved to 65 from 60 to 65 for primary and secondary school teachers in Nigeria. But that is not enough incentive. What teachers want is living wage. And this is across board, from primary to secondary to tertiary. They want living wage. They want good working environment. There will be infrastructure. There are supposed to be laboratories for those who are science students to go and do practicals. There are supposed to be library. But look at it. Is it not a shame that National Library Project, which started way back in 1981 and completed in 2025, and the wife of President Bola Tinubu, Mrs. Oludere Tinubu, to use a bad day occasion to raise over 20 billion towards the completion of the National Library? How many schools today have libraries? I mean, well-stocked library. And now, teachers are expected to use their own personal resources to buy equipment to train the pupils and students. It's not done. So a lot needs to be done to improve the welfare and well-being of of our teachers across board, from primary to secondary to tertiary level. And we have enough institutions to train and more than train enough teachers. In fact, if assuming that government wants to recruit teachers today, those who have minimum of NCE, they will have more than enough. Because we have all the tertiary institutions that are producing graduates, but they are not being recruited. They know that teachers, English teacher are in short supply, mathematics teacher are in short supply, science teachers, from chemistry to physics to biology, they are in short supply. You may get management teachers, economics, and all of them, but the core subjects without which you can move forward. You know, if you pass all the subjects, you fail English. You can't get admission. If you pass all subjects, assuming that you are good, you pass English, government, economics, TRS or RRK, and then you are a science student, you didn't pass physics, chemistry, biology. You have missed road. You cannot have higher education beyond that. So what I'm saying is that there is a lot of introspection that should happen. Not just this tokenism of celebrating World Teachers Day. A lot of work needs to be done across the board. Interestingly, education is on the concurrent legislative list.
Exactly.
So it is not just exclusive to federal government. State, local government, and federal have responsibility to do something. Unfortunately, do you realize that primary schools are supposed to be under local government areas?
Yeah, exactly.
They're supposed to be the one. But now they are even kicking against having them under local government because they are owing them salaries.
Yes,
They are owing them salary, and that's the experience of the area councils in Abuja. The area council said they cannot pay the 70,000 minimum wage. How sad can that be? And they allowed us to be on strike for 3 months over wages.
All right.
When it is a federal law that should apply across board. Unfortunately, that's what it is, my brother.
All right, Julia, let's move on to the House of Representatives. Well, it seems unease, so to speak, within the minority caucus of the House of Reps. The media is at watch today about plans to remove the minority leader, Kingsley Chinda. And with all the political ongoing, is this a proxy war or what? What exactly do you think is happening in the House of Reps?
Well, I wouldn't really have not followed through what is leading to the move to remove Chinda. All I saw was a flash yesterday that I think he has gone to court or someone
has gone to get an injunction.
To get an injunction. But, nobody is born as a minority or majority leader or speaker or the president of the Senate. If there's a change of leadership in the minority caucus, it's not the first time that will happen. It has always happened. And so it's nothing new, and I don't think we should spend time discussing issues which is with. But you know the irony of it. In the House of Reps, there are 8 political parties that have representation. Now, Chinda is of the PDP extraction. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Chinda is PDP, and he's a loyalist to Mr. Wike.
Yeah. He's
one of his right-hand man. And perhaps because of the PDP politicking, the politics of leadership, that's supposed to be their convention in Ibadan for the 15th of this month. But
all right, you are still staying with the National Assembly. We understand that the House of Reps Committee on Constitutional Review have been moving around and wrapping up their assignments. And one of the meetings today is with political party leaders. Now, when we talk about the review of the Constitution, when we talk about electoral reforms, a lot of people believe that we should, the operation of political parties, how they obey their laws, how they conduct primaries, and so many other things. If you were to be part of this meeting, for example, what do you think should be the focus?
Sincerely speaking, I'm not pleased with the National Assembly or the way they are moving on this constitutional alteration stuff. It's taken them 2 years. For God's sake, this thing it's not a rocket science. What about this consultation? This is October. By now, they should have voted on the key issues and move on. Because the road ahead is still long. All these things that they are doing is like filibustering to me. It's like they're just doing it to waste time. I wrote in my column in the book 3 weeks ago about the need for National Assembly to expedite action on this whole constitutional and electoral reform. And why did I say so? If I incidentally, the thought I had is the same thought that INEC chairman and the EU EOM, European Union Election Observation Mission, and put few days after last week when EU EOM came to visit INEC chairman, where INEC itself is saying, please conclude this whole exercise because it will impact on our planning, electoral planning. Now, INEC is under law to release the timetable for 2027 election once it's 1 year to that election.
Exactly.
5 days. And that 365 days will count by February 2026. This is October. By the time President Tinubu says I'm presenting budget 2026, issues around the electoral reform will take the back seat. You know how our lawmakers angle for issues around the budget. Because that's where they will have influence to key in projects, conspiracy projects. So they will no longer pay attention to anything around the electoral reform. And we must stop making this same mistake. In 2023 and in 2022, because of the lateness in the adoption or in the signing of the 2022 Electoral Act, INEC had to move the election forward by 1 week because of the new law. Now, we do not even know what modalities or what will make among the electoral reform issues, what will make the court. Because this whole constitutional alteration, Senate will vote separate, House will vote separate, and any of the issues that is able to vote on, that means that gets 2/3 majority of the members, is what we get transmitted to the state houses of assembly.
And that too will take time.
And that you can't even dictate to the state houses of assembly on when they should vote. You can't say, I want this back in 1 week. Because they also will have budget to contend with. And governors, starting from this month, governors will start to present budget. In fact, if we follow what the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 said, budget has to be presented 4 months to the end of the year, September. So it's just an association